You need to watch this if you crave chills down your spine. Welcome to Soul Studios. Here, true crime meets the unknown. Suspense lurks in every shadow, and supernatural forces whisper from the dark. We craft chilling, edge-of-your-seat short stories inspired by the eerie, the unexplained, and the most haunting mysteries. 3 new stories drop every week, each one darker than the last. Are you ready to step inside? Subscribe now before the next story finds you.
On a lonely Texas back road, locals whisper about strange vanishings that stretch back decades. Cars are found abandoned with engines running, radios blast static, and drivers report seeing a barefoot woman standing on the roadside, only to vanish when they look again. Some believe it's the work of a disturbed man hiding behind folklore, while others insist something ancient stalks the night. What really happens on Farm Road 1826 remains one of the most unsettling mysteries in Texas, where the line between crime and legend is razor thin. If you love stories that blend true crime with chilling folklore, hit that like button, subscribe and turn on notifications, because the next tale we share might just follow you into the dark. Imagine you're driving down a lonely Texas back road at midnight. Your headlights cut through the darkness, and suddenly you spot her, a barefoot woman standing on the shoulder, her dress fluttering in the wind. You slow down, thinking she needs help. But as you get closer, something feels off. Her eyes lock onto yours, and a chill runs down your spine. What if I told you that stopping could be the last thing you ever do? This is the story of the devil in Driftwood, a case that started with one missing woman and unraveled into something that defies explanation. In the spring of 2002, the small farming town of Driftwood, Texas, was the kind of place where everyone knew everyone else's business. Cotton fields stretched for miles, and the biggest excitement was Friday night football. But on April 14th, that all changed. Maria Castillo, a 28-year-old waitress at the local diner, clocked out after her evening shift around 10 p.m. She waved goodbye to her co-workers, got into her beat-up Chevy, and headed home along Farm Road 1826, a narrow, winding strip of asphalt flanked by dense mesquite woods. She never made it. The next morning, a passing farmer spotted Maria's car abandoned on the roadside. The headlights were still on, draining the battery. The driver's door hung open like an invitation. Inside, her purse sat on the passenger seat, wallet untouched, keys dangling from the ignition. Everything was there, except Maria, and strangely, her shoes. A pair of worn black flats she'd been wearing that night were gone, as if she'd stepped out barefoot into the night. Sheriff Earl Donnelly, a grizzled Vietnam vet with a no-nonsense mustache and a limp from an old war wound, arrived on the scene. He scanned the area, his boots crunching on the gravel. "Looks like she just vanished," he muttered to his deputy. Search parties combed the woods but found nothing. No footprints, no signs of struggle. Just the endless rustle of leaves in the wind. Whispers started spreading through Driftwood like wildfire. Old-timers at the diner talked about La Mala Hora, the bad hour, a Mexican folklore spirit said to haunt lonely roads after dark. They said she appeared as a beautiful woman, luring travelers to their doom. "If you see her between midnight and dawn," one grizzled ranch hand warned, "you turn around and drive the other way." But Sheriff Donnelly dismissed it as superstition. This was a missing persons case, plain and simple, or so he thought. As days turned to weeks, the investigation hit dead ends. Maria's family, her widowed mother and 2 younger sisters, plastered flyers everywhere, pleading for information. Friends described her as hardworking, always smiling, with no enemies to speak of. She wasn't the type to run off. But then, something odd surfaced in the interviews. Maria had recently started dating a local guy, but she'd confided to a co-worker about feeling watched on her drives home. "Like eyes in the dark," she'd said. The case might have gone cold if not for what happened next. On May 5th, just 3 weeks later, 17-year-old high school senior Jake Ramirez vanished while walking home from a party along the same stretch of 1826. His backpack was found discarded in a ditch, textbooks scattered, no signs of foul play. Then, on May 22nd, a truck driver named Carl Benson pulled over for a smoke break during a late-night delivery. His rig was discovered the next day, engine running, door open, much like Maria's car. Carl was gone. Now, panic gripped Driftwood. Sheriff Donnelly called in state troopers, and search dogs were brought back out. They traced scents from each scene into the woods, but every time, the trails just stopped, as if the victims had been lifted right off the ground. Witnesses started coming forward with eerie reports, headlights flickering without cause, car radios blasting white noise, and shadows darting along the roadside where no one should be. One driver swore he saw a barefoot figure in his rearview mirror, only for it to disappear when he turned around. It wasn't human, he told the sheriff, his voice trembling. Donnelly, ever the skeptic, chalked it up to mass hysteria, but deep down, even he felt a prickle on the back of his neck driving that road at night. Digging deeper, investigators uncovered a thread connecting all three victims. Maria had waitressed at the diner, Jake had mowed lawns part-time, and Carl had hauled feed. All of them, at some point, had worked for the same man, Thomas Harlan, a wealthy rancher whose sprawling property backed right up to Farm Road 1826. Harlan was a recluse in his late 60s, inheriting the land from his father. Locals knew him as polite but distant, with a collection of antique cars and a reputation for throwing lavish barbecues back in the day. But rumors swirled. He'd lost his wife young in a hunting accident on the property, and he'd never remarried. On June 10th, with a search warrant in hand, deputies descended on Harlan's ranch. The house was immaculate, but out back, hidden under a rusted trapdoor in the barn, they found a storm cellar. Inside, stacks of yellowed photographs showing women from the 1970s onward, all smiling, all barefoot, piles of women's clothing neatly folded, and journals, dozens of them, detailing ritual hunts on the land. Entries like, "The offering at midnight, she walked willingly into the woods, the road claimed her by dawn." Harlan was arrested that night. In interrogation, he sat calmly, his eyes cold as steel. "I never laid a hand on them," he said. "I only offered them up. The road takes what it wants." When pressed about La Mala Hora, he smiled faintly. "She's older than the folklore. She's been here since the land was wild, and she's always hungry." The town was horrified. Was Harlan a serial killer, using the legend as cover? Evidence mounted, fibers from Maria's dress found in the cellar, Jake's class ring tucked in a journal. But Harlan's lawyer argued insanity, claiming his client believed in the supernatural. As Harlan awaited trial in county jail, the case took its most bizarre turn. On July 28th, over 3 months after Maria vanished, deputies revisited the cellar for more evidence. There, in a locked room they swore they'd cleared before, sat Maria Castillo's body, upright in a wooden chair, eyes open, dressed in her work uniform, no decomposition. The coroner examined her and ruled she'd been dead only 24 hours. But how? She'd been missing for 106 days. Toxicology showed no preservatives, no embalming. It was as if time had stopped for her. The news sent shockwaves through Driftwood. Harlan, hearing this from his cell, requested a Bible. That night, guards found him hanged from the bars, a noose made from bedsheets. His final note scrawled on the wall, "She came for me at 3:12. But here's where it gets truly unsettling. After Harlan's death, the disappearances didn't stop. In 2003, a hitchhiker vanished on 1826. In 2005, a couple on a road trip. Reports continue to this day, flickering lights, static bursts, barefoot shadows. Some say Harlan was the killer, staging it all with hidden accomplices. Others believe he was right, that something ancient lurks on that road, feeding on the unwary. Some mysteries fade with time, but Driftwood's road only grows darker with each passing year. Whether it was a killer hiding behind folklore or something far older stalking the night, the truth remains buried in the shadows. And if you ever find yourself on Farm Road 1826, remember, some offers are never meant to be accepted. On this Texas road, the devil doesn't drive, she walks.
Every story has an end, but here, the mysteries never stop. Thank you for watching and being a part of this journey into the unknown. Your support keeps these stories alive, and there's plenty more waiting for you. We drop 3 new stories every week, so if you crave suspense, the unexplained and the downright chilling, make sure you're subscribed and ready for what's next. Until then, keep your lights on, your doors locked, and remember, some stories stay with you long after they're told.